Collection agents are fucking scum. I know that collection agents, they just have a job to do. But some of them are real fucking scumbags. Some of them are very fucking rude and unprofessional, just general assholes in the way they act. And there's others that just act like fucking stalkers. Like, I got a letter, I got an envelope from a collection agency not so long ago. This envelope was not addressed to me. It was addressed to my address, but a different person who used to live at my address. And this person hasn't lived at my address for more than 1 year. So I wrote, doesn't live here, and stuck it in the return slot for Canada Post to return it to the sender. Lo and behold, I got the same fucking envelope about a week later again with that exact same message written on it. Doesn't live here. So I don't know if this collection agent thought I was fucking lying or what. But they're just fucking annoying people. Like, case in point, I hear about cases where they're pursuing people in the year 2018, for debts that were way back from 2004. Like, that's pursuing people for 14-year-old debts. In the Canadian province of Ontario, there's a 2-year statute of limitations. So for the first 2 years that a debt is delinquent, the creditor, collection agent, whoever the creditor is at the time, they have a 2-year window in which they can take legal action against you. Take you to court, get a judgment, garnish your wages. In other words, take money directly out of your wages. In Ontario, Canada, there's a 2-year statute of limitations. After that 2-year statute of limitations, then they don't have the legal right to take you to court or take any other kind of legal action against you. The only legal action they can take against you after the 2 years is up here in Ontario is they can hit your credit file with that derogatory information. And that derogatory information can sit on your credit file for up to 6 years after that account first went delinquent, or 6 years after you made the last payment on that account. And then after that 6 years, they have no legal recourse of action against you. The only way they have legal recourse of action against you once the statute of limitations is over is A, if you admit to that debt, that debt is yours, or B, if you decide to start making payments on that debt again. So basically, if a collection agent's calling you on a debt that's more than 2 years old in Ontario, Canada, as far as I'm concerned, I see it as being legalized harassment. Because I guess what they're trying to do is they're hoping that they can get you to admit that debt is yours. Then that 2 years of statute of limitations is reset again. Either that, or they hope that by continuing to harass you, that you'll get sick and tired of hearing from them, and you'll just give in and pay off that debt. All I can say is if you find yourself in this situation, where the statute of limitations is run out on your debt, and that debt is no longer able to go on your credit file, I would say, fuck those collection agents. Just fucking ignore them. Don't answer them. Don't talk to them. Don't communicate with them in any way, shape, or form. Let them sit there and fucking stew. Yeah, so, that's all I gotta say is, collection agents are fucking scumbags. And if you feel you're being harassed by collection agents, then the best thing to do is to check what the statute of limitation laws are about collecting debts in your particular jurisdiction, and check to see which body oversees or governs collection agents. Take action against them, or you can just ignore them. But in my opinion, don't bother wasting your time communicating with these vultures. Like, unless you decide that you're in a position to pay them, I would say fuck them. Just don't give them time or day. They don't deserve it. It's easy for people to sit back and be armchair quarterbacks and say, well, just pay your debts. I realize there's people out there that are irresponsible, that run up debts with no intentions of paying them back. But then there's also people that are responsible, hardworking people who end up in bad situations. They end up losing their jobs. They end up getting injured or sick. Like end up in a bad car accident, end up in a divorce, or end up in some other unfortunate situation that impacts their finances. And well, guess what? If you have a choice between, paying your cable bill or paying your rent or mortgage, but you can't pay both of those, well, what would you do? Would you pay your rent or would you pay your cable bill? Yeah, the choice is pretty obvious. I'd pay my rent. So sometimes sometimes bad things do happen to good people. It's just best to find out what you can do, and if you're being harassed by collectors, find out what legal recourse of action you can take against them. So those are just my opinions on collection agents. I just know so many people that have been harassed by collection agents, and I think collection agents for the most part are just worthless fucking pigs. And just because you're a collection agent doesn't give you the right to be fucking miserable and taking your misery and bad mood out onto others. If you hate your fucking lives that much, if your life is so fucking miserable, instead of taking your misery out onto others, why don't you just go fucking kill yourself? Go find a nice fucking fast-moving train and jump in front of it. Or find a nice tall building and jump off. Or if you have access to a gun, take a gun and blow your fucking brains out. Just go kill yourself if your life is that fucking miserable. instead of going around making other people's lives miserable along with yours.